Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there, it's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy L. Connors.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another Enough Already podcast. I'm Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. How are you, Tracy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Fingers?
Oh, I feel like $100.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're, let's see. We're right around dinner time here on Sunday. That's when we're recording. The only thing I've had to eat all day is 2 hot dogs with no bread, no bun, nothing. I feel great.
No condiments?
Mustard.
Okay.
Which is okay. No carbs.
That works. No cheese?
No cheese. Yeah. And I forgot my cold brew coffee before we got started. But that's okay. I'm well rested as opposed to the last time we got together. We had to take a week off. We were both traveling. I went to see my dad and the old men. And we played golf. And you had to leave to, do some traveling for your job. Mm-hmm. So we just couldn't record last weekend. But once again, the old men, I can't keep up with them. My dad's 80. His buddies are, I believe one buddy is 77. His other buddy just turned 73. We went golfing. The beers start flowing on like the third hole in the morning, like 10:30, and then we go to the bar and it's drink. And I at some point I have to look at them and say, I can't do this anymore. You guys have fun. I can't keep up. But the fun thing is hanging around guys like that at their age, you get to hear the old man jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to share an old man joke with you?
Oh, please.
I don't think I told you this. I wanted to tell you this the last time I hung out with them, and I forgot. But here's an old man joke. So, gentleman drives up to a motel with his family. They're on vacation, and he goes to the front desk, and he's checking in, and he says, listen, I'm traveling with my family. I want the porn disabled. And the front desk clerk responds by saying, it's regular porn, you sick fuck. It's an old man joke.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't know what to do with that other than just chuckle like you did and move on with my day. Then, the other joke, which isn't really all that funny that I heard, but I'll share it with you anyway because misery loves company. An old couple is sitting downstairs in their living room, and the wife says to the husband, take me upstairs and let's make love. And the old man responds by saying, can you just pick one of the two? Old man joke.
Oh, you should write a book.
Old man jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll bring a notebook with me next time I'm hanging out with these guys and just start jotting these down for my new book, which you can get on Amazon and Audible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should just record them. No need to carry a notebook around.
Yeah. I'll have Pauly Shore read the Audible version of the book.
Excellent.
So, but everything okay with you?
Yeah, everything's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Been beaching it? Going to the pool?
I beached it up.
Oh, look at you. No sea lice?
No. Don't be ridiculous.
No sharks?
None.
No shark lice?
Uh-oh.
No? Okay. Well, I guess we should get right to the news then.
We should.
What are the things that you want to talk about this week?
Well, I guess we should start with John Brennan.
Okay.
Are you up to speed on this one?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Check you out.
Yes, I'm up to speed. I have all the audio pulled up, ready to go.
Oh, awesome. Should we start with his brilliance on Maddow? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like everybody knows the story, right?
Well, maybe not.
Well, John Brennan, former CIA head, who has it firmly ensconced in his mind that Donald Trump is going to destroy our democracy, had his security clearance revoked by Donald Trump in his pursuit of destroying our democracy.
Yes.
And Brennan is not too happy about this. Shock and awe, I'm sure. And so he went on with somebody called her Jon Stewart's brother for a while. I think Rachel Maddow.
Right.
And she was trying to get, I guess in this, she's trying to allow him to walk back his previous statements in which he referred to the president as treasonous when he gave that Helsinki press conference.
And all he does is he repeats what he said, and which he basically said he was treasonous, but he said, "Oh, I didn't mean it," and then repeats what he said.
Yes,
it's very confusing. Well, let's take a listen.
For the President of the United States to continue to prevaricate on this issue, I think does a great injustice and a disservice to the men and women of the intelligence law enforcement community, and does a great disservice to the citizens of the United States. And that's why I said it was nothing short of treasonous. I didn't mean that he committed treason, but it was a term that I used, nothing short of treasonous.
Well, you didn't mean that he committed treason, though.
I said it's nothing short of treasonous. That was the term that I used, yeah.
That's that. If we diagram the sentence, nothing short of treasonous means it's treason.
It's not too often where Rachel Maddow can make me laugh like that.
Oh. I mean, it's stunning at a certain point. I guess some of them are going to start to wake the hell up and remember how much they hated this guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's Mr. Black Ops, Mr. Rendition, Mr. Drone Strike List. And if we want to talk about treason, the CIA was responsible for arming a lot of the nice rebel fighters that became ISIS. Mm-hmm. That was the genius of the CIA. I believe Petraeus started that, but Brennan continued it, of course.
He's touched in the head.
Yeah.
And why should these past intelligence officials have access to classified material?
Well, this is what I don't understand, and nobody has really explained, is do they have access to it still, or they just have the ability to access it if necessary?
Is someone keeping track of this?
Well, this is always the story that we're told, right? They need it in case there's some situation where the biggest question on everybody's minds is, what would John Brennan do? Shit, we better read him into this really quickly. Thank God he still has that clearance. Or is he allowed to just waltz into the CIA and look at whatever he wants to?
I mean, wasn't that one of the things that people were bringing up, saying, well, geez, hopefully this will stop some of the leaking going on?
Potentially. But have you seen anybody clarify exactly what it means to keep your clearance?
No. I mean, does he, like you said, can he just waltz in there? Does he have access to whatever computer, I'm guessing whatever devices that you could access classified information on when it comes to a computer for any kind of government office would be an Apple IIe or some other technology that's 15 years past its prime. But do they still have access to those devices? Do they have something? Does he have something on him that can easily log into whatever, wherever they can find classified information? Does he have an office? Do all these retired guys have somewhere where they can report whenever they want to, just to be able to walk in? Who knows?
I don't know. You would think we would know the answer to this question, but it doesn't seem that anybody is curious about that.
We're asking too many questions, Tracy.
Yeah, sorry.
You may have some
but I kind of
guys in
understand.
suits with sunglasses appear at your door.
Potentially. Maybe even Brennan himself.
That's right.
Well, why not? The man spied on the Senate Intelligence Committee and then lied about it.
Isn't it amazing what you can get away with at a certain level? When you reach a certain level in our government, you're able to lie and there are no consequences at all. If he were just some schmuck, the bottom rung of any kind of government agency who would lie, especially during an investigation, you may be facing 0 to 6 months in jail.
Yeah.
So, well, good for Rachel Maddow for calling him out on that.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'd like to see the rest of the clip and see if she pushes any harder on it.
I'm surprised she pushed back at all.
No.
Most talking heads just kind of nod and then move on to the next question, mostly because they aren't listening to the answer.
Right.
Maybe
but she could have been wanting him to say, no, I do think it's treasonous, and double down on it.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, this was the big moment where he was going to come out and double down on treason. And then when he said, I'm not saying he committed treason, that's when she started listening.
Oh, what? But you said it was treasonous. No, Rachel. I know that's what I wrote. And yes, we can diagram the sentence on the board, and that's what it means, but that's not what I meant. You shouldn't
take me literally. You should take every word in President Trump's tweets literally, but you shouldn't take me literally whenever I say something. Words don't necessarily mean things.
No, and speaking of taking things literally, this is the man that claims it was Trump joking about, hey, Russia, if you've got Hillary's 30,000 emails, why don't you share them with the class? He took that so seriously that he felt the need to start investigating.
Now, who watched that clip and thought to themselves, this man's being serious right now?
Everybody on MSNBC. No, there's a certain segment of the population that truly believes that was a legitimate.
I'm talking about the regular folks out there. Bill O'Reilly calls them the folks. The regular folks watching, who maybe are not necessarily watching Morning Joy or AM Joy.
AM Joy.
What's the name of it? I
AM
always
Joy.
screw
You're
that
combining
up.
my two favorite morning shows. That would be a great crossover episode,
wouldn't it?
Yes. It's like when Josie and the Pussycats went on Scooby-Doo.
Well, they should have something like that on the weekends where, they used to on the old Tonight Show, they would pass the baton from Jay Leno to Jimmy Kimmel every night. Oh, what's coming up next, Jimmy? What's coming up next, Joy?
More on the Russiagate scandal.
Oh, my gosh. Well, okay, so, no, you're right. The MSNBC crowd, I'm sure the editorial board of the New York Times, many in the leftist media complex that live in New York and Washington, D.C., all thought he was serious. But, I mean, just somebody sitting over their ham and eggs in Elwood, Indiana, I'm not sure they're like, oh, my gosh, he's being totally serious right now. Can you believe this? What a Kremlin tool.
Look at the balls on this guy. Right there in the open. Imploring Russia to hack and steal her emails.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a dog.
Did you see my clip, speaking of dogs?
I did.
Can we play that really quickly?
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Speaking of jokes.
Al Sharpton, who is an American treasure, was doing his little shtick on. I didn't even know Al still had a show.
Of course he does.
I didn't know that. I thought the plug got pulled on that show.
No, they just took him off. He had a weekday gig.
Oh, and now it's a weekend show?
Yeah.
Is he following AM Joy?
I'm not really sure.
But you would see these clips on a regular basis where he completely slaughters the English language.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen anything like this for a while.
Adult illiteracy is a serious problem that we should not poke fun at.
So he's on, doing his shtick, and he talks about Donald Trump. And then he brings up the late, great Aretha Franklin. I'll play the clip and really start listening like Rachel Maddow did when Brennan said that Trump didn't actually commit treason. Listen when he brings up Aretha Franklin, because he's going somewhere with this whole dog thing he's got going on here. His writers are brilliant. Here we go.
He's barking like a dog.
He choked like a dog. Choked like a dog. Choked like a dog.
We've seen you employ people, expect unwavering loyalty, teach them tricks and give them treats for a job well done. Like, 6 figures worth of hush money to silence an alleged affair, for example. But the moment they deviate from their good behavior and fail to fetch, you publicly condemn them on Twitter with animalistic slurs. Steve Bannon was, quote, dumped like a dog.
Okay, he brings up Steve Bannon almost as a sympathetic figure here.
Right.
Like, where's this coming from? You even called Steve Bannon a dog. Wow. Al looks great, by the way.
Yes, he does.
Okay, here we go.
You tweeted after he was fired. Sally Yates, you said she choked like a dog during her Senate testimony on the Russia investigation. And now Omarosa. That doesn't include all those outside your orbit you've hit with a canine cut down. Like when you referred to black NFL players as sons of, well, female dogs. But I think you might have learned a lesson this week. Sometime the dog bites back with a book deal. And while we're talking about female canines, you know what they say about payback? It's a real, well, I'm sure you know the word I'm thinking of. So in the words of my late friend Aretha Franklin, show some Respict. And the next time you get a black woman and a beagle confused, remember this. I got you.
Respict. Find out what it means to be. Resptpe. Take out the TPP.
Oh my God.
Wow. Oh, he's an American treasure.
It's unbelievable.
Do you think was that improvised?
No, I think he's reading.
Does he? So clearly he writes his own stuff. Either that or someone sabotaged him. Somebody pulled the old potato trick on him like they did Dan Quayle and misspelled respect on the teleprompter.
Oof. Or maybe they do let him write his own stuff and nobody spell checks it.
You don't think
maybe he's just incredibly clever and does this on purpose knowing it'll go viral. Or his producers hate him and do this to him.
That has to be it.
That would be great. There's a mole in the control room over there.
Probably put there by the Kremlin.
Of course.
Respict.
That's unbelievable. But don't go confusing black women with beagles. What the hell? They try to fit in as many alliterations as possible. Canine comments or whatever the hell he said. But he undermines the whole thing because they were trying to say that this was racist to call her a dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that for a couple days.
Oh, I didn't hear that, but if that's what he's insinuating, the first example he comes up with is Lily White Steve Bannon.
Right. With Mr. White Nationalism himself. And then Sally Yates, I believe she's a white woman. And then that wonderful thing that you shared from in the New York Times?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It's an interactive piece where everyone who's ever been insulted by Donald Trump on Twitter, people are added to it, periodically. Apparently, it was last updated July 10th, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Which
means they'll be slacking.
Yeah, the 487 people, places, and things Donald Trump has insulted on Twitter. A complete list. And you could just run down Nikki Haley. The people of South Carolina are embarrassed by Nikki Haley! ! Well, that's not too bad. Mary Catherine Ham isn't smart enough to know what's going on at the border. These are kind of tame, aren't they?
Well,
Some of them.
I did a search for dog
Yeah.
to see the dog insults, and so far, Sloppy Steve cried when he got fired, begging for his job. Sloppy Steve has been dumped like a dog by almost everyone. Sloppy Steve, leaker, Sloppy Steve. I don't know if these go to tweets. I see. So it's all the insults underneath the person's name.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hyperlinked to the actual tweet itself. So just the insult is there. So that was the dog for Bannon. He referred to Brent Bozell as a dog.
Really?
Brent Bozell of the National Review, which he's not,
No.
right? Is he Media Research Center?
Yeah.
One of the National Review lightweights. Maybe he was in that National Review against Trump issue.
Oh, that could be.
Came to my office begging for money like a dog. Why doesn't he say that?
Anna Navarro, flunky, one of the dumbest people in politics, has no talent, no TV persona.
Bob Corker, who helped elect President Obama, and I'm reading this verbatim, give us the bad Iran deal and couldn't get elected dog catcher in Tennessee, is now fighting the tax cuts. This is amazing.
Ariana Huffington, dummy. Liberal clown. Britt Hume, a dope, know nothing. This is beautiful.
Oh my God. This is so great. And they probably think this is horrifying.
Oh, I mean, some of it too. So Joy Behar, I'm like, oh, I see Joy Behar's name. This should be good. Fired from her last show for lack of ratings.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is supposed to be the insults.
Yeah. Charles Blow, dishonest reporting. Anderson Cooper has the absolutely worst anti-Trump talking heads on his show. These are insults?
God.
Oh, Penn Jillette. Sad. Worst show in Las Vegas. Hokey garbage. Goofball atheist. Never had a chance. Wrote letter to me begging for forgiveness. Boring guy. Oh, I like Penn Jillette.
I do too.
Katie Couric, third-rate reporter, has been largely forgotten. Should be ashamed of herself. Fraudulent editing. Okay.
He also called Maggie Haberman a third-rate reporter, and I think who else did I see? Mark Thiessen, third-rate. Who's it? Comey, third-rate.
Okay, now what did he call? He called Haiti a shithole, or he called Puerto Rico a shithole? I can't remember.
No, it was supposed to be a bunch of African countries and then maybe some South American countries.
Well, he called, and I don't remember this. He called Brussels a hellhole.
Oh, huh.
So, would you rather be a hellhole or a shithole? Oh, Mika.
Oh, wow.
Dumb as a rock. Crazy. Low IQ. Was bleeding badly from a facelift. Had a mental breakdown while talking about me. Crazy and very dumb. Crazy. Clown. Very insecure. Off the wall. Mess. Not very bright. Neurotic. Has gone wild with hate.
Oh, my God.
Maybe the best president of my lifetime.
At least the funniest.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is not dignified and clearly below the office of the president.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if you want me to continue. I think I love this so much. Chuck Schumer. Oh, crying Chuck, crying Chuck. want to protect illegal immigrants far more than the citizens of our country. There's not a lot of good stuff here. It's all crying Chuck. I like crying Chuck. It's good.
It's pretty good. Did you see he tweeted out a video of Schumer talking about illegals?
No.
Yeah. And he's like, I agree with him. Because it's from a couple years ago when it was still okay for the Democrats to say not nice things, like including using the phrase illegal. This is before we decided that people can't be illegal.
Right. You're not allowed to say that anymore.
Oh, it's hate speech.
All right. I'll move on. But we need to keep this.
Yeah, I mean, we could go. The Hillary list looks to be the longest.
Oh
no, it's CNN. They have the longest list.
It's longer than Hillary?
Well, I thought I was looking at Hillary, but it's just so many things about Hillary.
Oh.
Because I assume it's about helping Hillary cheat. You know, that collusion story. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Frank Luntz. A total clown. A clown! Yep.
I'm surprised he didn't pick on his toupee.
Oh. A low-class snob.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Came to my office looking for work. Oh, man. He doesn't like Macy's. What did Macy's do? Oh, Macy's dropped.
His ties, right?
Yeah, his ties. And it wasn't, his hot daughter. Why am I blanking on her name? Ivanka. Didn't she have a fashion line there or something, too? Didn't they?
Yes.
Didn't they drop her fashion line or something?
They took all the Trumps out of their circulation. He's only got 2 for Wiener.
Oh?
Perv and sleazebag is all it says. Let's see. Huma Abedin, the top aide to Hillary Clinton and the wife of perv sleazebag Anthony Weiner, was a major security risk as a collector of information. That's just honest.
Yeah.
And that's from August of 2015. It's before the laptop.
Dana Perino apparently is just not getting there. That's an insult.
What an insult.
Well, we need to keep this handy.
Yes, I love it. They need to update it.
Yeah, I mean...
Because there's been some pretty good ones.
July 10th. They need to keep one person on staff just for this. 487 people, so we'll know it's been updated. Well, not necessarily if he's throwing the same insults at people. We'll just have to look at the date. Last time it was updated was July 10th. So we'll have to revisit this. Maybe every week.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Write
God.
them a little note.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Well, speaking of, we brought up MSNBC earlier. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. You have another audio clip that I have queued up.
Yes, the full-on Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
And this woman, she writes for the New York Times, the one that you're going to hear. This is Katie Tur, and then I don't know who the gentleman is, but the other woman is Michelle something from the New York Times.
Well, and the talking head who apparently is filling in for Chuck Todd.
Yeah.
She even pushes back a little bit on the crazy. Like, whoa, I think this may be a little bit too crazy even for us. Apparently, this woman believes that Donald Trump is really okay with the idea of rounding people up and shooting them.
Yeah. He's just not been allowed to yet.
Right. Yet.
Just wait for it.
I'm still waiting for the camps. The camps haven't happened yet. And I'm waiting for Mike Pence to be driving around in his white van to throw gay people in and take them to the conversion camps. I'm still waiting for this. When is it going to happen?
At a certain point, don't these people think, okay, a year ago today I was predicting XYZ terror was going to befall us.
Yeah.
And that never happened. And here we are a year later. I'm still running my mouth on television and getting paid to do so. Mm-hmm. How bad are things really?
Right. Okay, here we go.
But this is the most vocal president, at least in real time, that we've had in recent memory, right? He is the leader of the free world.
Oh, no, he's not. He's not the leader of the free world, but sorry.
Okay, so that's Michelle.
Yeah. No, he's not peanut gallery member that's the writer from the New York Times.
Yes. Yep.
Default is the leader of the free world.
Angela Merkel's the leader of the free world, but
well, he is the most important person in the world, in politics right now, and he is very vocal. And I do agree with you that this does express a level of exasperation among his aides that they can't have any control over.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Your argument that he's not the leader of the free world because he's not standing up for democracy, he's not standing up for humanitarian rights.
He's a sort of junior player in a block of authoritarian countries.
And the people like the European Union are no longer looking at him as a leader any longer, and they're thinking of doing the right thing.
They see him as right. They see he's like he's part of a bloc that includes Vladimir Putin, Duterte. He's kind of part of he's part of kind of an axis power.
Well, hold on.
That's worse. It's worse than that in a certain way. I mean, not that that's not the worst thing you could have said, because it's about the worst thing you could say about him. But if he's not the leader,
rounding people up and murdering them without any due process.
He'd certainly like to.
Well, anyway,
I don't think you can say that definitively,
anyway,
Michelle.
I do.
You can't say that definitively.
What's amazing about their attitude. You wonder, are they sticking it up, or do they really believe this?
Oh, I think that woman, Michelle, absolutely believes that.
Well, you would think that she would live in fear and terror every day if she felt that Donald Trump really believes that people like her should be rounded up and shot.
Well, she appears to be stress eating. Well, she said he's part of the Axis powers.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman is mental.
And most likely a regular guest on MSNBC.
I wouldn't be surprised. I hadn't heard of her until a couple months ago when they did the what's it called, the Monk debate, which was political correctness. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about this a little bit because I had watched it, but it was the motion of the debate was what you call political correctness, I call progress. And so arguing in the affirmative for that was Michael Eric Dyson and that woman.
Wow.
And they were up against Stephen Fry and Jordan Peterson. And it was a slaughter. But neither one of those two, Michelle or Michael Eric Dyson, could even make a coherent argument for their position. And her opening monologue was all about, Jordan Peterson's scary, mean man. And Donald Trump is going to, destroy the world. Mm-hmm. Yes, I live in a fascist because the Monk debates happen in Canada. So she's like, at one point I thought she was going to break down and be like, people don't even understand. You have a wonderful president. Just embraces diversity everywhere. And
it really cracks me up, this mentality. I was watching late last night. I'm flipping through Netflix, which is something I don't do very often. Mm-hmm. And I came across David Letterman's new show. Mm. My next guest needs no introduction. And he had on Howard Stern. Mm. And it was very good. I like the show. I like how it's structured. It's just the two guys sitting on a stage with about, 300 people in the crowd. And it's a conversation. And it was great to watch. And, I've admired both of them for a long time, so I was anxious to see it. Well, the subject of Donald Trump came up because, obviously, Donald Trump had been a fixture on both of their shows for many, many years. Mm-hmm. And on a side note at the end, Letterman talks about, I'm just fascinated as to what we're going to have to tell future generations. I sit and I worry at night about what we're going to leave my 14-year-old son. as if Donald Trump is destroying the country. I mean, let's think about this for a second. What has he really done? Okay, he has cut regulations. He has cut taxes. Mm-hmm. And he's tweeted a lot.
No, he's cut the EPA to the bone. We're poisoning water.
Oh, he
poisoning
did.
Air left and right.
He did end the show with an archaeologist out in Utah, and they were highlighting how Trump took back some protections on federal land.
Yes.
As if the federal government should just be able, with a stroke of a pen, to essentially seize land.
Yeah.
And have that be okay.
Oh, they're all about that.
Yeah.
We're going to protect some endangered species.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is the thing. This is the only one of the episodes I've watched because he's had Barack Obama on and George Clooney. I may watch Tina Fey because I do like Tina Fey. Mm-hmm. I love 30 Rock. Mm-hmm. But, there's only so much of it you could stomach.
Yeah, and they can't stay away from this topic.
No. Talk to me about 30 Rock and Saturday Night Live.
That's what things you actually know about.
Yes. What about federal land grabs?
Yeah. Let's see if you like it if they come take your house for some eminent domain thing.
Yeah. So, there's that. So, apparently, Donald Trump is just chomping at the bit to round up, I'm sure, journalists and illegal aliens and throw them in the street and shoot them, according to this whack job.
Yes. And they wonder why he says the fake news is the enemy of the people.
Do you think but they try to lump all news as fake news?
Right.
An attack on fake news is really an attack on all of the mainstream media.
Sure. According
to those folks and the 300 or so editorials that were written at the same time from newspapers around the country. Do you think that the news media is the enemy of the people?
I think when they lie about shit, yeah.
Well, they don't report news anymore. They report narrative.
Right. It's gossip. It's cafeteria high school stuff.
Yeah, narrative comes before news. And if there's a big story or a news event, I shouldn't say a big story, that should turn into a big story. If there's a news event that turns into a big story but it doesn't fit the narrative, they don't report it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to take it so far as to say that they're the enemy of the people, I don't necessarily have a problem about that, but I'll tell you this much. They certainly don't seem to be a friend of the people.
No. And he can point to things like the Iraq War. They cheerleaded that.
Yeah.
They weren't skeptical. They weren't asking questions. Same thing with the gas tax in Syria. I've been to I can't remember the name of the group that goes in to investigate. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you what their final analysis was. It was so incoherent. They're like, okay, case closed, done. We seem to have found some chlorine around. That's the end of it. I mean, honestly, it was pathetic. Wow. We haven't heard a word about that since then. And now he's talking about getting out of there again. How soon do you think it'll be before there's another attack?
You're right. No, the Daily Caller had a graphic the other day that it's the Daily Caller. So, you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But they had a graphic, the Keith Ellison was accused of domestic violence. Mm-hmm. He's what he's the co-chair? Vice chair? Yeah, vice chair of the DNC.
And he's running for what, lieutenant governor or attorney general?
Attorney General of Minnesota. He was accused of domestic violence by a former girlfriend. The Daily Caller had a graphic where they talked about the first 24 hours after news broke of that Trump aide that was accused of domestic violence. Mm-hmm. And how much it was reported on CNN in the first 24 hours. It was almost 2 hours of the day, I believe. It was reported. They talked about it on CNN 24 hours after the news story broke. The Keith Ellison story, someone very high up in the DNC, less than 5 minutes.
I'm shocked it was even that.
Yeah, seriously. Because it doesn't fit the narrative.
But that's a tough spot for them because they've got the Me Too narrative, but then also protect the Democrats.
Right.
So it gets a little rough.
You got to get your chart out.
Right. Well, they were able to take Al Franken down, but this is, I don't know. Could we take down Ellison? He ranks pretty high.
That's true. But now you're already hearing whispers that Franken's going to run again.
Oh, of course.
And he'll probably be able to get away with it.
Probably.
There are photos of him cupping a broad's boobs.
Yeah.
While she's asleep. Oh, it's just a joke. Okay. Funny guy.
Yeah, but Trump saying, hey, Russia.
Yeah. I know if that were my daughter, I'd be laughing all the way to punching him in the nose.
Mm-hmm. No, but these are the things that the media does where people are just like, yeah, I agree with you when Trump says that kind of stuff.
Well,
you report things like, what was it? Oh, the story they were running all weekend long. I don't know if you saw this or not, but ICE arrested this guy while he was taking his pregnant wife to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, I kept catching it. Here we go. Here's NBC. ICE. See, now they've added this to the headline, but originally it was just like ICE arrests this poor man as he was driving his wife to the hospital and he misses the birth of his child.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way, would that be a big deal 40 years ago if a guy missed the birth of his child?
No, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure for other reasons, but.
Ask any soldier deployed overseas what it's like to have missed the birth of their child, because it happens all the time.
Yes. So let me see. I want to find one of the good headlines where they leave out what the hell it was. Oh, here we go. ABC News. ICE detains California man. Okay. Mm-hmm. Taking pregnant wife to hospital to deliver baby. Says he has a criminal warrant in Mexico. Okay, he's wanted for murder. I'm not kidding you. I saw this being reported on ABC because at the beach house we don't pay for cable, so you're stuck with 3, 6, and 10 like the old days.
Right.
And they're breathlessly reporting this with choking back tears. Oh, this is so horrible. This man was just driving his wife to the hospital. And then you got to dig a little bit, and now they've updated all this stuff. Oh, he was wanted for murder.
How many paragraphs did you have to get down into the story before you found out he was wanted for murder in Mexico?
No, I saw it being reported on the news, and they didn't mention it.
I mean, just in that story, though.
Oh, yeah. I jumped to a different story because I wanted to see if all the major networks have updated their headlines.
And have they?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
But the first story that they broke...
Yeah.
That doesn't include that minor detail has probably been shared on social media 345 million times. And then the story since, well, hey, psst, by the way, he's wanted for murder in Mexico. That story was shared about 35 times. That's my guess.
Yeah, of course.
And it's probably being blocked by Facebook right now as we speak. Because, again, narrative over the story.
Uh-huh. Yep, it's all about ICE separating families. Like, look at this. They didn't even have a family yet. And now he missed his family. He missed his baby being born because he murdered somebody in Mexico. Oh, we forgot that part.
I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't. I know that they think they're doing this for a greater cause, but...
That's how they sleep. They sleep quite well.
Yeah.
In their fancy beds. With their Egyptian cotton.
And this kind of shit has been going on for decades. how they report the news. And they think it's Donald Trump that has made so many people very angry at the news media. People have been pissed for years.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need Donald Trump getting up on a stage yelling fake news, fake news. We've been watching this happen for decades.
And it's all about the way that it's framed.
Right.
And they get to set up the frame.
Every election, we've got to hear about the uneducated white voter who votes Republican.
Yes.
Well, you know, you get these dumbass white voters in rural areas, probably don't even have an 8th grade education, and they're running out and voting for the Republican. I never hear about the education level of any other voter.
No.
Other than the dumb redneck white guy and gal in the rural areas voting Republican.
Well, you will hear college-educated people voted for Hillary Clinton.
Yes. They do throw that out there. You're right.
Yes.
You get these suburban liberal elites, college-educated. They voted for the Democrats. But those dumb rednecks in the country who could barely spell their names, they canceled their votes out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. But they just keep doing this and they learn nothing from it.
Right. I mean, why would that piss anybody off in the Midwest? Why would they be pissed off at the media for how they're being portrayed?
Yeah, why would they be chanting at Jim Acosta? CNN sucks.
It's got to be Trump.
Right. No, and then you see Antifa like actually assaulting reporters.
And they barely report it.
Yeah, they still love them. They're great.
Replace that mob with a bunch of guys wearing Make America Great Again hats.
Yeah. No, we would never hear the end of it. Ever. And they hyped that Unite the Right 2 thing for, what, a week and a half?
Yeah.
And it's like 15, 20 losers, 200 cops, and then, I don't know, however many of the masked Antifas show up. And she's like, yeah, we've been telling you guys that the so-called alt-right and these white nationalists represent nobody.
Right.
You guys want to make him out into this big scary monster. I wonder how much money was spent to send all those idiot reporters there to cover that.
And then they get attacked by leftists, and then you don't hear anything about it.
Right. Oh, because it didn't really happen.
Right.
Well, just memory hold that one.
No, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. That time I was in Denver for Red State, and that last night I was there, I went to a Ramada that had a conference center, and they were having a furry convention. Midwestern, it was a Mid-Mountain, whatever, furry convention. If I remember right, 21,000 people attended over the 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
There are more furries than there are people in the alt-right. And furries ain't getting anyone elected.
No.
And their numbers dwarf the alt-right. 50 people. That first rally that they had, I think it was Richard Spencer's rally. Remember, it was it was like at a Ramada Inn. If you remember right, they had it at a hotel, and I think there were like 30 people there and 250 reporters. They're like, oh my God, look at this. It's huge. My God, this is scary. Yeah, 30 people showed up for a national convention of lunatics, and we're going to make that into some scary movement.
Right. But the guy, I can't even remember his damn name. The guy that shot Steve Scalise.
Yeah. We called him Mongo on the show because he looked like...
Yeah.
What was it? He looked like, oh my, Alex Karras.
Yeah, that story came and went. It's completely forgotten about.
Should be a household name.
Yes. And if it was the Democrats, you'd know they'd bring that up at every press conference.
Oh, Gabby Gifford still gets brought up.
Oh, that's true. And I remember that guy's name.
Do
Jared
you?
Lautner, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, well, we're about 50 minutes in, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
What else you have?
Well, I love this from The Hill, and this is playing off the same media BS nonsense, like our friend Michelle from the New York Times. The headline on this, and I think they might even be, are they talking about her? No, this is a different New York Times editor. New York Times editor, Trump has sent the message to despots that it's okay to attack the press. These people really think despots didn't already know this? He's given the green light to despots to attack the press. Yeah, I think they were doing that way before he ever came along.
No, they needed Trump. They're just like the idiots in the Midwest who didn't hate the media until Donald Trump called them fake news. He's quite a leader that nobody listens to. It's amazing. Which one is it? Nobody pays any attention to him. He's a joke. But at the same point, he can influence millions of people in the Midwest and South to hate the media and apparently dictators as well. Wow. He's a powerful dude. An incompetent, powerful dude. I don't know. I can't follow all this.
Oh, it's crazy. How long has Putin been poisoning members of the press?
Apparently, Inauguration Day 2017 is when he started.
Okay. Noted. But this is why I think these people really believe this.
Yeah.
Because they say stuff like this. Like, this is New York Times executive editor Dean Bequette. I don't know how he pronounces his name. I'm sure it's more obnoxious than that. But he said this to David Axelrod on an interview that aired on CNN. So he says, I'm deeply concerned, not only concerned about what happens inside the United States at some of the volatile Trump rallies. So he's talking about old ladies encircling Jim Acosta and chanting CNN stuff.
Throwing Werther's Originals at Jim Acosta. Pelting him with ribbon candy.
He says, I think that the president has sent a message to despots abroad that you can disrespect the press. Holy hell.
Oh.
Maybe if you guys were deserving of respect.
Yeah.
Instead of going on and playing mind reader. Oh, if President Trump had his way, he'd round people up and execute them. Like that dog Amorosa.
And let's face it, if he feels that way, the 60-plus million people who voted for him feel the same way as well. We are so close to camps, Tracy. You have no idea.
I know. It's a shame that they've kicked Alex Jones off of every one of his outlets because he's been warning about this for decades.
Yes.
He knows where the camps are.
And the chickens are finally coming home to roost. Wow. Because, all of these dictators around the country, they're watching...
Around the world.
Around the world. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're all dictators in training.
Yes, that's true. Around the world, they're watching CNN's coverage of Donald Trump. That's all they do.
And they see Acosta, just get accosted. They think, hey, I should try that.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody, we got a free pass. Donald Trump is treating the media like shit, so I guess we can too. Mental. These people are mental.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, and you give people like Brennan and Clapper jobs in the media.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why the president attacks the media?
Right. The signature show on Sunday on ABC is hosted by George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I look, Dana Perino is on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
But can we not pretend that he's a journalist? That he plays it right down the middle? We know he doesn't. And if you call that out somehow, that's wrong. I love, these are the most thin-skinned people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Donald Trump is thin-skinned. These people are worse.
I'm not even sure that Trump is thin-skinned. I actually think he enjoys getting attacked because then he feels like he can punch back. He never throws the first punch.
I don't know, Tracy. Sometimes when he's attacked by it's such minor stuff, and then he comes from the top rope with a neutron bomb. It's like, okay, why are you even going after this person? It's an ankle biter. Because it takes
2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they'll spin out about it for days, and you can go do other more important things.
But you don't think it's thin-skinned to go after an ankle biter?
Maybe, but it's also theater, and I think he really loves that whole thing.
Well, I do agree with you. I think that he does thoroughly enjoy seeing the meltdown and everything, because I've witnessed this on Twitter for a long time, and I've never understood people on the right who engage with lunatics on Twitter who have 8 followers. And they will go to war with these people on Twitter for hours. And it's like, why are you wasting your time? And I've had a couple people sit down and tell me, well, listen, I do it because I believe it's a teachable moment. You know, that people are seeing this and they may, get something out of it. And I respect that answer, but I got into it one time with a lunatic, a leftist troll. And after it was all over, 2 or 3 hours in, of just, going back and forth for, every 5-10 minutes, I thought to myself, okay, maybe someone got something out of that, but I know who didn't. I didn't get anything out of it. I wasted my entire evening arguing with this lunatic. I don't understand it. And if you're the president of the United States, I really don't understand it. But like you said, maybe, we all have to have hobbies. Maybe that's a hobby of his, getting under people's skins. I don't know.
But just imagine what a kick you would get out of it if you could know that when you send a tweet, everybody on television is going to have to talk about it on cable news.
And they dig up lunatics like this chick from the New York Times. Who thinks that we're 30 seconds away from firing squads.
Yeah, but if you could send them all into panic just with 280 characters or less, you wouldn't be tempted to do that every morning?
I guess if I were bored with my supermodel wife.
Maybe she sleeps in. He's up early. Like, oh, well, hell, what am I going to do until 9 o'clock when Melania wakes up? I know. I'll turn on the TV and start tweeting about the people I see on it.
I'll screw with Micah.
Yeah.
Micah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, we're an hour in. You got anything else?
I think we're good.
You can catch the Enough Already podcast on Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, iTunes, YouTube, and BitChute.
Yes.
How are we doing on BitChute?
Pretty well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to direct more and more of our friends who are content creators over to BitChute because I've heard you say so many good things about it. So
yeah, it's a decent platform. And if YouTube's going to go around playing censor.
Yeah. Do we know anything about the people who run BitChute?
No.
I
imagine that they are autistic, super into crypto.
Yeah.
Probably libertarians.
By the way, can we, before we go, I only want to spend 2 minutes on this, but going back to why the people hate the media, CNN trying to, suing the government to find out the names and addresses of the Manafort jurors.
Yes.
Disgusting. We're just trying to intimidate them now.
Right. Do you care who they are?
Hell no. What do I care? I still don't care who the OJ jurors were. And some people are really upset about that. Who cares? What are they going to do?
You want to get in your face?
You're going to send your little Antifa friends over for a visit?
No, they'll go get up and get in their face.
Yeah.
Why did you do this?
But then who will follow after that? If you put their names and addresses in print, holy Christ.
Well, Well, and you got to think the only reason they want that is because they're thinking this is either going to end in a hung jury or not guilty.
Yeah.
So they must be punished. Because even though none of those charges have anything to do with anything that he was doing on the Trump campaign, it's a symbolic case for them.
Well, the other thing too is many of them believe that anyone who works for or had worked for either the Trump campaign or works for the Trump administration should be in jail.
Correct.
They're enabling a lunatic, a treasonous lunatic,
who's encouraging despots around the world to disrespect the press.
That's right. They all deserve to be in camps, Tracy.
Mm-hmm. They gotta put the Trump people in the camps before the Trump people put them in the camps.
That's right. A lot of camp building going on, and we're in year 2 of this presidency, and I'm still not seeing the camps.
Well, we've now let the majority of the children that were in the cages out, so there's some freed up cages.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You separate the media from their families.
There you go. Well, follow me on Twitter at Fingers Malloy. Follow Tracy on Twitter at Tracy L. Connor. Final thoughts?
Nah, I got nothing.
I got nothing. She's got nothing. We'll be back next week with an all-new Enough Already.